Welcome to the Kannakutana. This show was created to stimulate conversation. I couldn't have a more appropriate first guest than my friend, TV commercial legend, and stoner icon, Mr. Ben Curtis. So roll up and enjoy.
Places, mostly the South Bronx, because I lived in Washington Heights for 10 years, but I just moved to Beacon, New York. Yeah.
All right, you got
So
people over there.
I was,
What's up?
yeah, I was teaching at Hamilton Heights, they call it now, but it's right between West Harlem and Washington Heights, like 145th. Like I basically would take the bus straight across to the Bronx,
Right.
and I just moved to Beacon, New York, which is 43 miles north on the Hudson Valley, and it's beautiful. Like I can
Yeah.
see, well, not from this room, but I can see mountains. I saw
Oh,
deer
get outta
yesterday,
here.
and we have a
45 minutes
yard
from New York?
and a driveway. Yeah,
Dude.
yeah, and it's the price is going up a lot, but you can rent a house, like a 3-bedroom house here for like 3,300, like fully furnished.
Oh,
So. You
Why
know,
am I
like
now seeing this? Like, I just moved, bro. I just moved. This is a
I
new house
know
right here.
everybody just moved. Well, listen, every place has its journey. So this is part of your journey. I've been trying to move to a place next to the beach, and we just moved further away from it. You know, because I surf too, so I
Yeah, I
have been
saw that.
driving 2 hours to get to the Rockaways to go surfing.
Oh, you
so
surfing Rockaway.
yeah, it's all a journey.
How long you been surfing for?
I've been surfing for, I guess, like kind of seriously for 6 years. I mean, as seriously as a New Yorker can be.
Damn right. That's why I was thrown off. I seen the picture. I seen you like
Yeah.
a surfboard. I'm like,
Dude, you'd be
what are you doing?
surprised. These guys are out at like 6 a.m. before work, 5:30 in the morning, surfing for an hour, 2 hours, and then
I want to be
commuting
there.
an hour and a half on the subway because the A train goes right to the beach, and
Yep.
and then they
And
go
I've
back
never
to work.
surfed. Dude, you know what? Like, I had this, like, vision in my head that you were in California or something. Like,
Yeah, I
I'm
have
so
been.
New York, like ground New York, that I
Yeah.
don't even think about beaches and surfing.
Yeah. Well, I lead retreats in Costa Rica every year for people who want to learn guitar, who want to learn to surf, and learn yoga.
That is dope.
And we do all of those things to help musicians take care of their bodies because so many forget that their body is their temple. But we might even want to talk about this on the podcast. I
I
don't know.
know, right? We got like 15 minutes going and we didn't even start yet. So let's actually
Yeah, that's
start
cool.
the podcast. All right.
All right. As long as we can wrap up by 11:30, that'd be good for me.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. We got this.
Cool.
We got this in the bag. All right. Now I'm going to
And
talk
is
to
there
the TV
someone
audience.
else? Is there someone else on? I just see the logo.
No,
That's
this
just
is
part of your promotion, right?
I'm gonna show you just some clips of videos. Dirty May, I got.
Oh right.
some
Oh
stuff
fuck!
like
I can't wait. I'm so
that.
excited for this.
Yeah.
Dude, maybe
All right.
I should record this. This is
Yeah,
dope.
please.
All right,
Definitely.
cool. All right, let me know when you're ready. Oh,
I'm
you're
ready.
recording.
Yeah, I'm already recording. So you can
Oh,
go right ahead.
I need permission from the host to
I
record.
got you, brother.
We met through the Jay Stole Our Animal video, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm
One
just making
legendary
sure.
video
Yeah. Okay, cool. Dope. Thank
that
you.
never came out.
Yeah.
You know what? Before we even get into that, let's talk to the audience. All right, welcome, fam. You have officially entered the Kannakutana. Today we have one legendary TV commercial actor, musician, coach, and great dude, Ben Curtis.
Hello, welcome, blessings. Grateful to be here.
All right, my brother. How you been?
Woo! That's a loaded question. How long we got? An hour? Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while. We met on a music video. We were just talking about that. What
right.
was that? 5 years ago?
I
4?
think that was about 10 years ago.
Seriously? I smoke a lot, so
Yeah,
I
I
do
mean,
kind of forget my years.
we
It
were
may have
probably
been
all
10 years ago.
smoking a lot back then. I
Dude.
think, no, maybe not 10. It was probably,
Maybe like 8 or something like that?
yeah, yep. I think it was like 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah,
We've
we
been
were
doing this for a
dancing
while.
on the streets of New York, up in the
Oh,
subways. Like
this
that
is
was one of the
when.
best days
So
of my life. Dancing
this
to
is
that
when.
video Animal, being animals all over the streets.
This is when silent partying just started hitting, and nobody really knew what silent parties were. And silent parties were when you put on headphones and a DJ would play music, and no
No
one
one
else
else
can
can
hear
hear it.
it unless you had on the headphones. So if you just
Yeah.
walked into a club and you see people dancing, you had no clue what was going on.
And going down the streets of New York, and especially in the subways, that was great because
We
we were
went.
getting down. I mean,
We
I
went.
remember hanging on the rafters in
Oh,
my
we went.
underwear.
We
Like,
did everything. We did everything. We went from Brooklyn to 14th Street,
all the way to
partying,
Union Square.
silent partying with each other. I don't know
Yeah.
how many people was there. It had to have been like maybe 20, 30.
Yep. Yeah.
And we just partied through the middle of the street to the train station, on the train, getting off the train, and then all through 14th Street.
Yeah, all the way down.
It was
Yeah.
insane. I
Yeah,
seen
that was
titties
dope.
popping out. It was, we were all over the place. I had to tell this girl, I was like, you might not want that on camera. I got you.
That's great.
Insane.
Yeah.
How's quarantine life?
Man, it is actually, I have to say, I'm blessed. It was, it was a rough start for me as everybody, but I was actually on tour with my band that weekend. We were going to Vermont. We played a gig. It was already getting questionable. We were headed to Maine, this huge venue in Maine. They called us on the way. You can't come. I was like, is it because we're from New York? He's like, we're shutting down.
Oh, man.
So we
You had
actually,
no clue. You didn't even know why.
we knew what was starting, but we didn't. I mean, my friend had explained to me like 2 weeks before. He was like, "There's this metaphor, like you're in a stadium, right? A baseball stadium, and it was like he was explaining it to the Joker somehow, but like." For every like you drop a drop of water, and every drop of water every second grows twice the size. And he said, in a stadium, the whole thing at that rate fills up in 7 minutes. He
Whoa.
said that is what is about to happen.
That's like
So-
a Joker villain right there. That's a Batman villain right there.
Exactly. And he was like, listen, if you want to be, we're going to be locked down somewhere. I would like to be us together as a family.
Definitely.
Like you, me, your wife, me, my wife. And I was like, dude, I love you. Like if we're going to be locked down, I don't know if I can spend that much time with you.
With anyone. I'm going crazy with my
Yeah,
family.
no.
So
And we thought he was crazy. I was like, dude, that's extreme. And literally 2 weeks later, it exploded through the whole world. And so we're with our trombone player, and because my band Dirty May has this great New Orleans flair, and his parents live in Portland, Maine, and they said, why don't you just stay with us? We got an extra bedroom. His whole family's musicians. His dad's a jazz drummer. His mom's a bass clarinetist, a music teacher. Their basement was like a music studio.
Oh, that's heaven.
So we
heaven for a
locked down
musician.
in the right place. Our angels carried us, man, and we just made music. And then I launched my I've been coaching people for 10 years, but I launched my coaching business then to help sensitive, creative dudes like myself not just survive during this time, but actually thrive. Because what I realized is by being of service to people, I was getting better, even if they weren't. But the thing is, the good news is they were getting better too. So my whole thing is like thriving and being like the thriving artist and thriving creatively, thriving in relationships. I had to do some deep work, man. So it has been heavy. And then with everything we're dealing with socially, racially, economically, like it's been heavy, bro. So to be in a space of service and just listening, listening to my Black people, like listening to my every people, like anyone, like it has been a great time, and listening to myself, because we've finally, everything's slowed down so much that we either have to listen or numb.
Honestly.
Right? A lot of people have gone
you have to
into
reflect.
like
If you don't reflect,
addictions and you got, so this is the time, and it's scary.
Definitely.
Facing yourself is scary, but it's also the most exciting time, because now we have the time to create the universe we've always wanted, and to get intentional, and to get angry, and to get on the streets, and to get loud, and like, man. And then I heard you come up. It was beautiful timing.
You damn right. I had to. I mean, like, I see a lot of voices out there, and I just wanted to make sure that mine was heard as well, because I don't want people to think that it's like white people are evil or black people don't know what, or they're kind of ungrateful or something. It's people not listening to each other. That's the biggest thing.
A fucking man. I don't think you can say that enough. If we can just listen.
Exactly.
If we just sat and listened, brother. So I'm so grateful to be on this and to get to hear what you got to throw at me.
Honestly. Yeah, I mean,
And
I
this
wish we were in person.
Kannakutana.
It kind of feels like it was yesterday, even
I
though
know.
it may have been like 8 fucking years ago since we met.
Yeah.
But
Let's
it
do
feels
it in
like yesterday.
person. Let's do it again in person, brother.
We
It's
have
okay.
to. Yeah, we have to. When we get all this out of the way, we're gonna have the studio.
Listen, I
really
think
set up for
if
both of
even
us.
if we live like this, that's fine. If your studio's your bedroom, that's cool too. You could be on opposite sides smoking your own thing, and like it's cool. It's all good.
Honestly. So let's start getting into a little bit of who you are, where you came from, your background, your history, and everything. So when did you start acting?
When I came out of the womb.
Me too. I just never got paid for it.
That's right. Well, we got paid in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Energetically.
Definitely.
So my father is he's a retired Episcopal minister. So I grew up in a church. My dad is super cool though. He encouraged me, like he's the one who taught me about racism. He made sure I played in the local neighborhood, which was an all African American league. I was the only white dude.
Extremely important.
He taught me, he encouraged me to go to synagogue with my best friends up the street who were Jewish. He taught me God's a loving God and there's no wrong way to worship God. And everyone's God is their own, and that's a beautiful thing. And even if for people who don't believe, like my dad is just, I grew up, it was rare. And then 10 years later, my dad came out and he's gay. And that was a whole nother like thing that we had gay friends, you know, but in Tennessee in the 80s, I mean, even now, it's
still rough.
It's rough for everybody, and people are still finding their voice. But that was
alone if you were like a minister, you were in the
Ooh,
church.
yeah. Oh
I
my
can
God.
imagine. What was like the backlash? Was there any? Or did everybody gravitate toward them? There was a
No.
little bit of backlash?
I mean, well, let me just say, like, so watching him on the pulpit, watching him serve a message and see people like moved by him, like really made me want to perform. So I did my first performance when I was 5 years old. I got the lead role in the school musical, and I was too young for it.
What musical was it?
It was called Boo Bear. And it was the bear that nobody wanted for Christmas. And I had this solo, I still remember it, called Why Me? It's like, why me?
I love it.
Oh my God, my dad made my costume and it was too tight. And he said I was like stopped the show to tell the teacher that it was like too tight in my crotch. And that was my first official performance. And then I started doing evangelical ministers in the living room when family would come over. Like I got really good at like calling in the Jesus goes down. Like I've been doing that since I was 5. So.
Oh man, so you've been a character actor forever.
Yeah, I mean, listen, my home life was a little rough. We were white, middle class, but things were tight at home, and that it needed some relief, you know. And I have an older sister. She was not feeling it, so I kind of was the one that was bringing the show. And I met David Copperfield when I was 5, and I started getting into magic and performing and stuff.
Did you see the David Blaine balloon thing?
Is there a new one?
It's a new one. Just came out.
No,
like,
I haven't
a few
seen
weeks
it.
ago.
I haven't seen it.
It was pretty good. It wasn't as crazy as his usual stunts are.
Yeah.
But he did it for his daughter, so he just had like 100 balloons filled with, I forgot what type of air was it, and it just propulsed him up into the air. I think he went up to 50,000 feet, close to 50,000 feet in the air.
Wow.
Just holding on to them. and a
Yeah, it's
parachute.
like on TV. I don't know. I'm sure it's real. He does some wild stuff, but I studied Houdini and a lot of those things, and it's just now I feel like it's shock value. It's not even
That's
like
the biggest thing. Yeah,
I
it's not
like,
much tricks anymore. I can't name a new trick.
yeah, like
Most of the tricks we
like
see.
the art of illusion to me
Yeah.
is something that's really beautiful. Shock value, like when David Copperfield made a plane disappear and then the Statue of Liberty, and I'm like, all right, what's next? The Earth, like, and you
Yeah.
know it didn't really disappear, and you're watching it on TV, so it's like, yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's really cool that he's doing it and he's
Yeah.
defying the odds, but it's wild. I want to
Yeah.
answer your question too. The backlash from my father. My high school was an all boys private school. I ended up going to, I got a scholarship there, and it was Christian and mostly white. And the teachers were very fundamentalist. And my father basically was not invited back to our school. He had spoken there
Wow.
as a minister. Even now, my school is dealing with that, even though I think
I
while
just
I
don't
was
understand
there,
that. I don't understand how you're a fundamentalist and you love God and you're supposed to love all of his creations, but when one of his creations aren't to what your man laws are, you think that that's uh, detriment to your
well, listen,
religion.
anybody can take anything in the Bible and spin it into like to hate someone else.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
glad you
mean,
said that because that's
people
what
take
all
it in completely
religion.
different ways, but I mean, just the standard of it alone just doesn't make sense. I
No.
think that's almost radicalistic.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It totally is. I mean, it's like every message in every holy book of any religion is about loving thy neighbors. So it was crazy.
I've
And
read the Quran when I was 15. I read the Bible. I grew up Christian. I didn't really hold God up. I didn't go to church every Sunday or anything like
mhm,
that. We went to church for Easter.
mhm.
We got real fresh, and then we went to church. That was our
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but when I see people who completely devoted their lives to it, I kind of understand that if you devote your life to anything, if something is breaking that,
Mm,
you'll take it as if it's hurting you.
mhm.
And
Yeah,
that's the thing when
absolutely.
you get too in depth with something. I think with anything, you can get too latched onto cars, you can get too latched onto religion, you get too latched onto media and TV.
Yeah, and you,
Some people have
yeah,
porn addictions.
that's right.
Like people get latched onto anything, and
And
I really
people don't
think
want
that's
to
what's
look at
happening.
themselves. So I think when something comes up that someone doesn't like, it's a reflection of something they don't like in themselves. And I think when
Exactly.
people get scared and they're afraid of the unfamiliar and they feel uncomfortable, that's when the hate comes out. And I think if nothing else, the pandemic has taught us to be uncomfortable and starting to get comfortable with the uncomfortable because
Yep.
I know as someone who's always pushing myself to grow in the next level so that I can be of maximum service in the world as a performer and as a coach, that it is really uncomfortable. I just signed
Yeah.
up for this like advanced level coaching program with one of my peers, Preston Smiles. He's one of the top coaches in the world.
Okay.
And
Preston
he,
Smiles.
yeah, yeah, he's dope. Actually, you should look him up. He's one of the most powerful black men on this planet because he is leading the conversation for a greater planet through coaching, and he's training coaches, and this shit is next level. And
I love
he
it.
I got so confronted just signing, like I put the deposit down last night and I was like, oh, I woke up almost in tears this morning, like what have I done? But it's because my commitment to myself for 2020 is to no longer hide in my darkness anymore. I did that as an artist, and I did that as a drug addicted like 20-year-old, and
Mhm.
we know how to suffer,
Yeah.
but to shine, like that thing that the quote that it's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. So my commitment is to hold myself up to the light as much as I can, and that is scary.
Damn, you are dropping quotes, brother.
So that's what I'm trying to hold other people to. So anyone who's like ready to step into the light, that's how I support him as a coach,
Oh man,
because I need it too. I got a coach.
wow,
I had a
dude,
big morning too, so
that's insane. That's insane. All right,
yeah.
so you were like the first young stoner bro type to have multiple national commercials. One of the most successful marketing campaigns of all time, commercializing stoners. I say Cheech and Chong, do Where's My Car, shit like that, kind of made it mainstream, but you were literally on commercials. Like, you literally made it commercial. And for them to kind of, like, blacklist you because you fucking smoke when that's the damn character, that's what made Dell one of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, it really was.
It threw, I think it threw most of us off.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you feel about that shit?
Kind of the same way. I mean, it's tricky because I remember the first commercial. So the director of the first 4 commercials. So if you watch them from the beginning, like my first one, and I think you're gonna play some, is just me and a computer.
Hey,
it's
it's
$8.99 neighbor.
Really?
And then one where I'm in a store with a kid and his mom. That's the first one where I say, dude, you're getting a Dell. So those first 4 commercials were directed by Bennett Miller, who's the Oscar award-winning director of Capote.
Same dude directed all 4 of them.
And he was friends with Philip Seymour Hoffman, was one of his best friends.
Oh man, one of the greatest actors. Rest in peace.
Yes, and one of my favorites. And so Bennett, I remember Bennett even seemed like a little bit of a stoner, but he was like, listen, dude, like the ad agency, they're having a hard time with this like stoner vibe we're going with, like, and I'm thinking like I'm wearing a hemp necklace and like a waffle shirt. Like I look like the quintessential white stoner, right?
Seriously.
And I was playing a quirky character. I was playing younger, and I wasn't trying to play a stoner. Probably the fact that I was one, and I was playing a quirky kid made me come off as one.
So natural.
Yeah, probably. But he was like, "Let's make it." I don't know if you know Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but it's one of the best like stoner films ever. Sean Penn, also one of the best actors out there.
Yeah, he crushed it. I mean, it takes talent to play that role, to be
dude, and
them with it and relate to people and have people like kind of see themselves in you.
Yeah,
it's a really hard talent. Like not many people have that skill. Like you think
he
of that
looks
shit.
Crazy
a
high
lot of
the
people
whole time.
Bumble that shit.
Yeah,
you know, like Sean Penn crushed it. You know, Kevin Hart is good at that.
Yeah,
Will Ferrell, Paul Rudd. You know, not everybody can do
Dave
that.
Chappelle.
You really have Dave Chappelle. I was just watching Half Baked, so.
But there's a thing of like being stoned and then like playing it for hours every day with tact that takes something.
Speak on it, brother.
So they were like, we need this a little less Spicoli, right? And I'm thinking, well, and then on the 4th commercial, the tagline was mission accomplished. And I was like, that's dope. And they're like, no, try dude, you're getting a Dell. We want to try something different. Try saying dude, you're getting a Dell. And I said to Bennett, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's terrible.
So they just came up with that on the spot.
Yeah, because they started to see my character and they were starting to write for my acting. And so they were like, try that. And I was like, that's terrible. Like, dude, you're getting, like, that's not even a good line. But like, that's
insane.
That's way more stoner. So I was saying it kind of like in my head, like full disclosure, I was like saying it, making fun of it. Like, dude, you're getting a Dell. Like, this is the worst thing I can be saying to you right now. This is so lame. And then it took off.
Yes.
And I couldn't go outside.
So you really didn't see that? You didn't believe that line was really gonna?
No, I thought it was trash.
Dude, when I tell you, like,
I couldn't say that, man. I was getting paid too much money back then. But
you're damn right. Don't bite the hand.
Right.
But when we heard that, bro, it was all over the place. Like,
yeah, that shows what I knew. Like, I was humbled by it.
Yeah. Oh,
it's just, I'd never live it down. And it got so big that I didn't know. I wasn't watching TV. I was in school full time. I was going to Tisch School of the Arts. I was on an acting scholarship. That's where I met Jay Stolar, who did the music video we met on. I opened up for his band, his first band, Julius C., with my band, The Condition, which was like this reggae, rock, blues band.
What year was this?
Hip-hop group. This was MySpace. This was before Facebook.
Oh, my God. That's Tom, man?
Our music might be on there. MySpace /
You gotta hit up Tom for your music?
The Condition Band was the name. It was Dude, it was 2000.
MySpace
Yeah.
is decommissioned.
Yeah, this was like year 2000.
Wow.
Um,
So was that when you started
2001.
singing?
I've been singing since I was a kid. We had a
So you've been
piano.
singing and acting kind of like around the same time.
Yeah, I'm not professionally. I
Yeah.
wasn't a professional singer at all, but I had bands in high school. My father used to play guitar for me. I had a piano in the house I'd bang around on. I always loved singing. I sang in choirs growing up, but I never had any like private vocal training or anything until actually a few years ago. Our band
Yeah.
started taking it to the next level because I was sort of a natural singer and I had a good ear for harmonies and stuff.
And I
Um,
really had no clue about that. When I first heard your band, bro,
hmm.
I was like, no, this is Ben? Seriously?
Dude, wait till you hear my rock band, Sambara, from the early 2000s. I was like a screamer. It was like Kurt
Yeah.
Cobain, was James Maynard from Tool, that kind of thing.
Wow. Okay.
But now I'm doing mostly, the one thing that's always stood with me being from the South was blues. Like, even though I had a racist grandfather who taught me harmonica, I remember, like,
Wow.
he gave me my first harmonica. Listen, I don't blame him. He grew up in a different time too.
Exactly.
He didn't have the tools, but we didn't get along sometimes because of that. Because I love black people, and he was not feeling it. But he gave me a harmonica, and I remember playing the blues for him the first time. And he was, and this is not. I mean, I shouldn't even say this. Like, bless his heart, bless his spirit. But like, he was not a blood relative. He was my step grandfather, but he was my grandpa. He raised me, and he was hard. He was a hard guy, but I played the blues for him. He was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's the blues." He was like, "Well, like, can you play a song?" And I was like, "I can play from my heart." He's like, "Well, you have to learn to play a real song." 'Cause he could play a million songs on the harmonica. I still can't. I still just know how to play the blues from my heart. So that's something that stuck with me and grew out of me. And I was in these bands in college, and after college, I toured Danny Fingers and the Thumbs. We opened up for Rufus Wainwright, who's a world famous singer songwriter. And then one of the band members, the bass player, was named Robbie Frost. And Robbie and I were jamming. It turned out Robbie also lived in Washington Heights. So Robbie and I got together. We started jamming, and he started singing. I was like, "Damn, dude, your voice is incredible." And they started playing the blues. And I was like, "Bro, that's my shit. Like, let's play." Here's two white dudes. He's from Ohio. He's 10 years younger than me. Like, playing some serious, like, Delta, Mississippi blues
Hey,
coming
have
out
you
of him.
seen Dewey
He's an
Cox
old
Walk Hard?
soul. Yeah. Yeah.
When I hear the blues, man, I don't care what race it is. After I seen that little kid play,
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Yeah,
As long as you
exactly.
have that pain in your heart,
Hmm.
let it out.
Yeah. And I learned it from black people, man. I learned to sing from my soul. And my dad did too. I mean, this is truth. My dad does believe he was black in his last life. And I'm serious.
He may have been.
He might have
may have
been.
been,
He
bro.
might have been, dude. He was, he grew up in Memphis, Tennessee in the
We're all
40s,
spirits, man. Like we're
listening to
literally
Martin
just all
Luther
spirits.
King.
So
And we all came from Africa, but some of us, have gone a little astray since then.
yeah, I mean it's been a lot. Like I try not to get too hung up on history, but it's really it still affects us today.
Mm. Oh,
And it
hell
affects
yeah.
us today, I think, a little too much. Like we're in
Mm.
the golden era of the internet and having information at a click away from us, and we still move as if it's 100 years ago, it's 50
Yeah.
years ago, it's
Well,
40 years
shit's
ago.
coming to the surface. And I think the blessing that's come out of our president, by the way, I got this dope song on our album. You can look up online called Overcome. It's based on We Shall Overcome. It's like a gypsy jazz version, but I wrote it literally watching Trump get inaugurated. I was by myself and I was freaking out and I was shaking because I was
Yeah.
at Obama's inauguration in DC with my best friend from college and his family who are African American, and we were there together holding hands like,
Yeah, I
fuck
stopped by my
yes.
college too. Like when he was
Yes.
running, when he first ran in '08, I think it was
Wow.
'07 actually, he stopped by.
Wow.
And we were like, yeah, this dude is probably going to be president.
Yeah. And my dad, so he, on Martin Luther King Day, my dad would invite the all black Baptist church in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where I grew up. Because Chattanooga, what I love about it is there's some racist white people, but there's a big black population there. And the right people would come together. So my dad would actually invite the church and our church on Martin Luther King Day, and every other year we'd go to their church. And I remember holding hands with my best friend, who was black at the time then. I mean, he still is, but at that time, he was my best friend from childhood. Yeah. We were 6 years old, and we were holding hands singing We Shall Overcome. And I was just crying because I knew that he was still oppressed at that time. And I knew that this is not how things are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And to do that with a new friend, 20 years later, watching Obama be inaugurated was powerful, but it's also sad because we're still singing the same song.
Yeah.
But the important thing is about coming together.
We don't come together, and we don't come together early enough. I think your father had it right when he put you in positions and places where you were able to meet other people that weren't like you, other skins, other nationalities. Because that way, when you're younger, you don't have biases. You don't have things that are brought into society to be in your mind for the rest of your life. No,
it's learned behavior.
You just see another kid.
Yep.
And
it's
I
either
remember
taught to you
being 5 years old and having Spanish kids, Indian kids. I'm from the Bronx, so we had pretty much everybody. Italians. I'm from Little Italy, so we had a whole bunch of Italians. We had a whole bunch of pretty much everyone, like literally
and Chinese
everyone.
kids down
and
there.
The only thing that I seen was certain people looked like another person. I looked like a Jamal, and Spanish chick looked like the Spanish boy. And that was it. We didn't think that it was anything past that. Just people just look a little bit differently, but not everybody.
Did you notice cultural differences between the races? Like different people's parents are like, no.
Yeah. And that's when it comes into play. When you get a little bit older, then all the stuff starts weighing down. Your family, media, your church, everything, your community. It all comes down, and then we all just get succumbed into our little visions of what the world should be.
Yeah.
And we're not focusing on what the world can be.
Yep. And listening, like you said at the beginning, is key. Listening to each other and coming together. So with that song Overcome that I wrote, it's on our album Holy Mama. It's across all the platforms, Dirty May, like Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all that. But
I don't think I heard that one yet.
It's at the end. I think it's one of the last songs. A lot of people don't get to the end because that's sort of our outro songs, but it's a powerful song. It'll catch you off guard because it sounds like because of the gypsy jazz in it, it's got a little bit of a you'll hear like some Jewish influence of that cultural music in there because we all write together, so we all pull from different pools of musical backgrounds.
We got a little system of the down going on.
So there's a little bit of you'll hear the different flares, and it's really cool. And that's what I love about our album is it kind of takes you on this journey. But I wrote it in response to Trump getting inaugurated, and what I wanted to say is I think the best thing about him being president right now, the positive part is that it has allowed us to see that, like you said, the internet, we should be here. We can open up, but we're 100 years behind. I think it's allowed us to take the blindfold off and see the truth and see that there is some serious work that still needs to be done. Honestly. And I think it's allowed us I think it's caused a new uprising. It's caused people to come together in a new way. Like we haven't had a women's march like that since ever. But like since the suffrage, right? When women couldn't I mean, it's just women were the last people to be allowed to vote.
I just think that goes to show the power of media. Like we had Obama and we thought everything was great, but we still have laws that we need to change. Yeah, based on
slavery. Like it's crazy. Exactly. The fact that the police were built on like slave hunters is terrifying. And a lot of people still don't know that. Yeah.
KRS-One said it best.
Yes, and people have been rapping about that since the dawn of time. That's why I'm like, I love new hip hop. Like, don't get me wrong, but since it's become so commercial, and
Yeah.
people aren't speaking the things like they were. Like
Yeah.
Jay-Z got big because he was speaking truth.
You got
know?
like a few artists out there. You got like Little Baby. But honestly, yeah, we need a lot more.
There are people, I mean, I'm trying to remember that. There was a performance, the Grammys one year, and I'm trying to remember the hip hop artist. It was a male, and he was like behind bars.
Kendrick?
No, it
Was it Kendrick?
maybe, no, I don't think it was. Yeah, okay, maybe it was Kendrick's performance. I mean,
I think I remember that too.
there are people. The thing is, the only reason I really ever wanted to have fame is so that I could use my voice to share what I've learned. And because I remember as a kid, like, I never want to be as famous as David Copperfield. Like, I want to be able to go outside and have a private life. But I also see, like, celebrities have a voice and they have a platform. So I feel like once you become an influencer, you have, what, like it or not, and this was hard for me to get at age 20 with getting fame. I was like, I don't want it. This is too much. Like, I can't handle this. People yelling, dude, you're getting a Dell at me all day. Like, because I just lived through 9/11, and and I'd seen, like, already how we were responding to Muslims in a, like, insane way and unjust way. And I was like, we have bigger fish to fry than this commercial right now. Like,
and it's actually kind of funny because when I look back at that, I see black people and white people at that time were just like this. One of the tightest we've ever been. We were all just American. We all got hit.
That's true, and tragedy brings you together. And I think
like 5 years later, went right back to normal. And what they did was they victimized the Indian people, the Arabs, and then they just put it on that. So I was just watching a show called Lie to Me. It's like came out maybe 10 years ago too. And the first maybe 10 episodes is Indian and Muslim like terrorists or bad guys and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is really what we were drilling into our people's head. So
it's crazy.
You can't be surprised that a little bit of people act up.
And I think that was sort of the begin. Like, we don't realize. I mean, for a lot of you who, like millennials and stuff, like when I grew up in the '80s, for those who weren't around, like Reagan was like that was the beginning of these, like, because before that we had Jimmy Carter, we had JFK. Like, if those guys, if JFK and Martin Luther King,
actually diplomatic people.
Yeah, and if they had not been assassinated, the world would be a very different place. But they were, and that was the beginning of, and even the Black Panthers, like, we're doing such good work, and even uniting with like white leaders.
Once you get that spin, it's kind of hard to go back on them.
And somehow, I don't know how the like fascist conservative white groups have like grown since then, because we're supposed to be getting more educated. But I think like with social media, I think it's also grown the other side. Yeah. And I think as any group rises in power, like white people are threatened and scared.
Even actually like certain things that try to come off as positive kind of divides us. You look at Star Wars and they're like, why is Rey super powerful? Why is a girl? Why is a woman? And it's kind of like, it's not about the woman. They just had bad writers.
Yeah.
And these writers are kind of inside of us. We take that home with us. That's why the women are having marches. That's why people... I was looking at this thing. It got me really upset. And I was almost upset as probably like a racist KKK member or something. It was
don't get it wrong. They're not upset. They're afraid.
That as well. Yes.
So I wanted to distinguish that. I don't think they're angry. I think they're scared.
Possibly losing the country. And it's like
losing their power. So really, go ahead. I didn't want to take it away from you, but
yeah, I mean, we can get into that. Because what power do you really have if you're in a backwater town and you're not making as much as a Spanish person working in New York?
And not willing to work as hard as that person.
Nowhere even close to it.
Dude, when they started shipping people out of California for being illegal immigrants, you know how many white people lost their businesses because of all the people who actually were willing to do the hard work out there? Like it's crazy. They,
Yeah.
they want
And then these are the
Americans to
same
keep all
people
the
that are
jobs.
complaining about, yeah, my job's gone. And dude, go get the
Dude,
job.
yeah, you can go
Dude, go
wash
get a
dishes
job.
whenever you want.
I don't
You're
understand
too
it.
good to do that? Well, that's your problem.
You
You
know,
know?
and we take these on and then we move it as if it's our life. And it's kind of like, no, this is how we move in society today. We can change, but it takes all of us to change together. If we don't come together and say, all right, yeah, these certain people may have those point of views, that's okay. Let them have that point of view. But to completely ostracize them, take them off the media, take them off the internet, and you're kind of growing a hatred. You're kind of growing their fan base right there versus actually having a dialogue and letting people understand them and then go, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that. Or if they want to choose to be a part of that, let them choose to be a part of that as long as they're not endangering anyone. But it's so much of a tit for tat that we can't just sit down and go, we all want the same thing. We just want equality. We want to be able to say, you have everything in the world. I have everything in the world. What's wrong with that? It's enough. It's not one. It's enough for everyone. So the thing when you have 0 NFL owners that are black, when you have maybe 2 NBA owners that are actually black, when majority of their league, their workforce, the people that are generating millions for possibly 20 years plus, have
Yes.
been 80% black.
Yes. If they stopped working, those people would be fucked.
This is an issue.
Yeah.
But they act like, well, why are they kneeling? Or why are they upset with police brutality?
Why are these
And
athletes
it's like it all
giving
goes
us
hand in hand.
this lip for, they should be grateful. We're paying the black, come on.
Yeah, let me be grateful that I'm making millions, but my cousin over here can get shot
Yeah.
just from going to the store and buying a Lucy.
Yep. And so can those players actually.
Or maybe sleeping at home and a cop can jump into the house and shoot him while they're sleeping. And it's kind of like, that's the issue.
Yeah.
It's not about taking one thing or another. It's not about one person becoming less. It's about all of us being equal. And when you have a society that's been brainwashed to think that we are this, it's kind of hard to go, everybody is this. And until we completely erase that stigma, I think we'll be in this boat for a while. So hopefully these talks like me and you are having can kind of open some people up and understand that it's not about us or them. We don't even see that. It's just about people. I don't talk to asshole people.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Yeah. Truth. But listen, we have to realize too, I'm privileged. I think it's a privilege to grow up in New York City and be around so many different races because a lot of people in the middle of the country don't have the money or means. The amount of people I've met, I travel all the time. That was one of the greatest things my parents did, because they had some privilege. They did help us travel and see the world. And they, one of the craziest things to me is how many people haven't left their city or their state. The amount, Maine is a very white state. I spent a lot of time in Maine. The amount of Mainers I met who have never left. And I mean, there are very few black people there. Luckily, there's not a lot of racism as much as some of the middle of the country, but it's still people don't even have the means to travel and they get stuck in these small towns and they all, listen, if you're in prison and you have to do whatever you have to do to survive, you're going to join whatever group you have to do no matter how bad they are. And that's why kids join gangs. If they don't have family and someone says, listen, we'll be your family, just go kill that guy for us. If they need family that bad, they will do that. So I think that's what is going on in these places where racism is getting fueled, because these people literally are depending on each other to survive. Or this is the illusion. They feel like they need to, right? Yeah. And so they're like, we have to come together to protect ourselves, but it's just all fear and ignorance. And I think the great thing about social media, even though it's empowering some of their thoughts, like you can't have those thoughts without the other ones now, because the other side, meaning like the side of equality, is being spoken about and put in front of us so much more. So of course there's going to be pushback as power rises, and as people who have been, you know, not in power try to rise up, like the people on top are going to try to keep knocking them down. They get scared. But as long as we continue to rise, we continue to march, and we continue to do it peacefully so that people can listen to each other and stand in your power unapologetically, but without violence. I think that is the most important thing. Like, we have to put ourselves on the line. We have to be willing to take the backlash without physically fighting back. Just using our words and our bodies as our message. Like when people did sit-ins, like that was a huge thing because they weren't saying anything. They would just sit together. And they say, you can arrest us, you can beat us, but we are going to continue to sit together because that is our right as humans. And I think that is what we need right now. We just need to sit together.
Yes.
Try not to fight. You know, both sides are fighting. Everyone is. But
you coaching, man. You coaching right
focus
now, bro.
on being together and listening. And if you don't know, just ask and say, please educate me, because I'm still getting educated. You know, as a woke white dude, grew up with a lot of black people, like I still don't know shit. And the only way I learn is by reminding myself that I don't know shit, and can I please just listen? I have to remind myself every day. And that is the message, and that is why I coach too.
You know, that's
I'm trying to put the word out. And my coach is black, and during the beginning of Black Lives Matter, he was like, I was like, what do I do? I'm a coach. I have a voice. I have privilege. I have white skin. I'm putting messages out there about how we should be living. Like, what do I say right now? And he said, please do not back down because you are white. Please continue to raise your voice, because if you are raising a voice of unity and equality, we need to hear that from as many people as possible. And if you're in a place of privilege, then you have a responsibility to speak the truth.
Yes.
And your truth. And that really hit me, man. So that's what I'm trying to do with these. And I just love interviews for this reason, because this stuff comes out of me when we're together, bro. Like I'm lit up being with you right now. Like
honestly, man,
what a way to start the day, dude.
I can't wait till we're actually in person again, man. It's gonna be fucking awesome. We're definitely gonna do something. We need to surf. That's what we need to do.
I will teach you to surf. I guarantee. I will teach you to surf. It's not that hard.
I am down for that.
You just start riding on your belly like a boogie board.
Yeah.
And then you start trying to stand up, and before you know it, in the right place, like
I'm thinking of Johnny Tsunami right now.
I teach people all the time. The only reason more black people don't surf is because they didn't have the privilege to, and now they do. Now they do. So, you know, it's a weird thing. Like Hawaiians don't even surf that much. There's a bunch of white dudes who went out there. So. Oh, the other cool thing about Preston Smiles is he had his own surf school. So he was like one of the first black-owned surf instructor schools in LA. He grew up over there.
All right. Yeah.
Dude, if you can get him on your podcast, he's you think I'm dropping some shit, he's gonna blow your mind. That's why I work with this dude.
Let's book it.
All right, you got some more questions for me?
Yeah, man. All right, so how many commercials did you actually shoot for the Dell company?
I don't clearly remember. It was a rough time, but I think it was around 26.
Whoa. Did all of them air?
Yes. Yeah.
26.
Some of them aired less than others. Yeah. You know, I'd go out for a week. We would shoot for like 3 days straight. And so they would turn, you know, one spot might be turned into like a 30-second, a 60-second, a 15-second. And I'd have to do it like a million different ways. Yeah. So that was literally like one day of filming would be turned into 3 different commercials. So I had to do 3 different styles for everything. So I was literally, it was probably around 26. The first 3 were in Long Island. The 4th one, the dude you're getting the Dell in the store, was in Toronto. And then all the rest were in LA.
Dude, you're getting it.
And that's when I was like, I had money. I was buying the weed. I
You
was taking
did
care of my
right.
friends.
You
I
was
was at the
getting that LA
parties with
good.
Hugh Hefner.
Was that the first time you had that LA good?
Yeah, and you can't. I mean, I couldn't even. You can't even smoke a joint of that. If you come from the East Coast, you would like
Yes.
take one hit and you'd be gone. Like you
We were
could
so
not
used to the
smoke,
dingy green and brown.
dude. It was. I mean, weed's more potent than it's ever been. When I was growing up, it was not like that. You know,
Yeah.
people hadn't figured out the chemistry of it yet, and yeah, the plant saved me, but I also got pretty hooked on it because, like I said, post 9/11, I lived in ground zero. I saw all that stuff, and that was the height of the commercials. Almost lost my best friend there. I almost died.
Wow.
Like, I really started numbing with drugs and alcohol, and luckily I kicked the cocaine habit, but that was, you know, when you're partying and you're out in the scene, like LA had a lot of that, like house parties late at night. I was with some heavy hitters, and like the lines were coming out, and it's toxic, and I was destroying myself.
And how old were you at that?
I was in my like 21.
20.
I was at clubs. I'd see like
prime.
Britney Spears. I'd see,
Nice.
I was hanging out with Jeremy Piven.
Cool.
There was a bunch of dudes out there, but it was wild, and it kind of broke me. So like weed sort of helped the transition, and then at like age 30, I started having panic attacks, and I think it was mostly alcohol related because I was still numbing out from my PTSD and depression, anxiety disorders I had from that. Also,
Were you
fame
drinking heavy?
can be traumatic. Oh yeah. And I was bartending.
What was heavy?
Dude, I mean, I was bartending. We were just doing shots of
You just
tequila
had
like
anything you
all night.
Okay.
And then you'd drink some beers after work, and then you'd take a few more shots. So it was just like
even yourself out. Oh,
yeah,
man, you were fucked up.
and then you'd
I
smoke.
hate those mornings.
And then you'd
hate
just
those
like
mornings.
pass out. I didn't even sleep. I'd just pass out. But I mean, nothing good happens after like 3 or 4 a.m. anywhere on the planet, you know?
Yeah,
So
honestly.
I got put in some dark times, but I was with some like heavy hitters, and it was confusing, and I wanted to be part of the party scene. And I was like, I didn't like myself. I didn't like how I felt. I didn't like the way my life was going. I stopped being able to hold down jobs. This was post Dell, even though like I was the best performer I'd ever been, and it just kind of hit me like I couldn't do it anymore. And I had a friend who I smoked weed with, but I remember she didn't drink, and I was like, can you take me to one of those meetings? Like, I don't think I can do this anymore. And she did. And actually, I haven't drank in 8 years. Wait, hold on. Today is the 22nd. So this Friday will be 8 years with no alcohol. And
wow. Congratulations,
brother. Thank you, man.
That's amazing.
And that's my journey.
Wow.
I mean, that's what I need to do for me. The first 7 years were also no marijuana. So I don't even know. I think I was completely sober when we met. Now I've tried to integrate.
Yeah, I tried to get you.
I know. That's why I couldn't do it, man. So I had to really look at what I was putting in my body and the integrity of that, because as an artist, like, it was affecting my brain, and I was going to the dark side. And
I mean, and abusing anything, honestly, I really think it's just bad for you.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, my boy
anything.
my boy would say, listen, if you don't take care of the plant won't take care of you. It's the same thing with anything. Like, you got to respect the herb, then the herb will respect you.
Yes,
and
sir. Healthy living all day.
So, but I couldn't.
You were
Whatever
just
it
going.
was, like, if I had a taste of that, like, I just wanted more, and I couldn't control it. And I had to, like, surrender, you know?
Did you think, like, it made you more sociable? Do you think, like, it
I think it sort of helped numb out some of the pain so that I was able to show up. I mean, in hindsight, if you'd asked my friends if it was more sociable, probably not, because I couldn't speak as clearly or think as clearly.
Yeah.
You know, they'd always be like, dude, when you're drinking, you're hilarious, you're fun, you know, but when you're smoking, dude, you just pass out places, and it's not cool.
Yeah.
But it helped me socialize with a lot of people in a good way. It was a more positive thing. It helped me bond. It was like passing around a peace pipe. And, you know, that's how it started. And I studied a lot of Rastafarianism and the culture of connection through Jack, through herb, through the highest, through connecting. I think for some people it can help them connect with a higher entity. I think some people it actually opens them to lower entities. But again, it's like the reason you're doing it.
Exactly.
And it can very quickly for me become a medical thing. So I'm like using it to fix or try to change my feelings. And what it does is it opens. So I'm going to get a little woo-woo spiritual here, but energetically, it opens my aura and makes me more vulnerable. So whatever I'm feeling, it amplifies, and it gets to be too much. So what I've had to do is I had to do a lot of work without substances, without herb, to ground myself so that I could start to heal and so that I could reintegrate it. So I've started reintegrating it into my life slowly again, and I love it. And it's great. And when I take care of it, it takes care of me. So like what it looks like for me is I don't do it during the week. And I've gotten into CBD because it has so many healing properties. I can still smoke it. But then, sometimes on the weekends.
Just for smoking?
Or orally.
Okay.
Yeah, you can like take it through liquid form. It's great.
Have you ever used it for
pain
recovery?
relief and sleep. Yeah, I mean, I've used it as like if I'm really wanting to get high or just smoke something, but I know that like I don't need to be getting like high on THC. Like I've used it as a thing to help calm me. And CBD has some really healing property. It's the part of the plant, like THC is what gets you high and gives you the munchies and opens the euphoria. But the CBD is a property that is kind of grounding, mellows you. It can help with insomnia and pain. My wife has insomnia, so I started studying CBD to help her, and she has chronic back pain. She's also a body worker and a healer because she's been through the pain herself, and so we use CBD with her to help her with those things. And the herb helps too, man. So I always say you just got to find what works for you.
Honestly.
This is my journey. This is not, if you smoke all day and that works for you, please, like I'm jealous. I wish I could. And I have, and it's worked for me, dude. I've been cool. I can, I can.
I completely agree.
But I got to take breaks. I got to check myself sometimes. That's me. I speak for myself.
I haven't been like a big drinker. One of my first jobs was at a bar, but I've never been. No, actually, I can't lie. I had when I was in Penn State, I had like a good 4-year run of being the king of drinking.
Okay.
I would fucking put shot. It was one night. We just went to like four different parties. It was like one bar and 3 parties or something like that.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
And I was just taking shots, drinks. It's this drink over there called Monkey Ball.
Yeah, I know about that. Yeah,
insane. So I'm drinking this. I out of nowhere, I'm tongue kissing these 2 white chicks. 5 minutes later, my friends are completely gone. 10 minutes later, I don't know where the hell I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
4 minutes later, after that, I wound up running into the girls that I was kissing, and they wound up taking me back, and it wound up being a great night. But that's one story. It's a lot where they were pretty bad.
It ended that well. Yeah,
it was a lot
as you remember that much. Yeah, Penn State was the #1 party school in the country, so I can only imagine. Like I went to NYU.
To say I helped put us in the Raptors.
Oh, good. Well, NYU was not known for the party school, but it's because we had New York City. Like we didn't have to do it at school; it was just everywhere. Yeah. Like our campus was the village, and like that's where all the drugs and alcohol. Oh, it was crazy, man.
I know, bro.
I'm surprised. I had to go back. I didn't finish school till I was 30 years old because I had to drop out to handle my career and handle my shit. And I was like, NYU's gonna pay me to go back or to teach. Like Alec Baldwin got an honorary degree. I was like, I want an honorary degree.
You're stupid.
But I had to go back and finish. I got humbled. I had BFA on my resume, and my mom saw it, and she was like, "That's not honest." She was like, "Put 3.5 years towards your BFA." I was like, "No one wants to see like almost finished college." Like,
That's a
But in
fact.
that moment, I was like, thank you, Mom, for holding me to my honesty. You're right. And I went back and I paid for school myself, fully independently. Unfortunately, it had doubled in tuition, so it went up to $60,000.
Oh my
So
God.
personally, I went into debt and I paid off most of my loans with the Dell money, the money I didn't spend, which I spent a lot. But like I took on personally like 40 grand worth of debt just to graduate from that school. I mean, I don't know if it was worth it, but the
I was about to ask
experience
you,
of
do you think it's
saying,
worth it?
I think for me,
Maybe not yet.
completing what I started at the place I started was very healing because I had such intense experience in New York City growing up and going through like Dell and 9/11. Like I just couldn't even be present in college. So to go back at age 30, I was older than half my professors, but I was almost like to meet them where they were. Like it was incredible. Like my brain was charged. Like I knew what I wanted. I got like a lead role in an incredible play called Take Me Out, which deals with racism and homophobia in baseball. And I played the racist, homophobic redneck pitcher that hated the gay black dude that was like the Derek Jeter. He was a biracial guy. And we had to be we had to be naked in a shower together on stage. Let's just say there was no comparison. Like even my mom was like, I feel bad for you having to stand next to that guy.
Oh my God.
But dude, it was so to be able to have those kind of conversations in an artistic way, it brought everything to the forefront because that's, people are already comparing, and the nudity makes it evocative. And it was on Broadway. It's actually coming. Well, it was supposed to come back to Broadway. It obviously not right now, but they're trying to bring it back again because unfortunately, 15 years later, it's still shit we're dealing with in our culture, and it still needs to be put on stage in our faces. Rona,
I don't even know if they're gonna let you guys go on stage butt naked anymore.
That's true. We're gonna have to have masks around our,
have a little plexiglass between you.
Yeah, down there. I think they will. I think we're getting closer. It's we'll see, man. We may just have to learn to live with it as a society. So that's why I say, like, please don't stop living your life because things are different. Like this is actually the time to do whatever you want and to curate your goals and dreams. So when I heard that you're making this podcast, dude, like I just want to acknowledge you for going after your dream in a time when it feels like all of the opportunities are gone. That is not true. Like you created exactly what you've been wanting to do for years, and here you are doing it. I've wanted a podcast, but have I put one together? No, it takes work.
Yes. We're going to do it together. I got you.
I acknowledge you, brother, for doing that, man.
No doubt. No doubt.
You're an inspiration.
I truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Truly appreciate it. All right. I saw you at the 9/11 concert, the live stream. Was that actually a live stream? Were you performing at that time?
Yeah.
Where were you?
Yeah, I was hosting live. That was in Flux Studios in the Lower East Side.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That was actually, so for those listening, it was this 9/11 like 2 weeks ago. That was powerful, dude. I was in Minnesota for the week. I'd helped a sober friend move back home cross country. It was crazy because I was in Trump country. I learned a lot. I flew back early and I slept in an airport all just so I could show up for that gig, which is a volunteer job to host because I believe how much the message of 9/11 and how we need to come together as a country. And it was really powerful to host a space for artists, especially Black and Latino artists, to give them a voice when it's needed most, and then to have the privilege and honor to get to perform with my band, Dirty May, and have my wife and my best friend. Oh, I told you the story about that guy, Robbie, who I was playing blues with in that old pop band. Mm-hmm. So he became the co-founder with myself and my wife, Cassie, of Dirty May.
Oh,
That's
wow.
how we
So
started.
that's how it originally
In my
started.
living room through the blues, and my wife would come in and be like, I want to do this, and I'm like, honey, we already have business together, it's too much, you know. And she just became such an incredible voice and singer and songwriter. And she, man, she can, if you listen to a lot of the lyrics pretty much on her album on Holy Mama, anything that person is singing is they have written. So mostly I sing the parts I've written, my wife sings the parts she's written, Robbie
Wow.
sings the parts he's written.
Almost like a
So
rap group.
yeah, yeah, it's dope. So we all have a
I
voice,
love
so
it.
that's why the album's so eclectic and takes you on a journey. And we went to a barn up in Ithaca, New York, where we recorded out on a farm with this dope engineer, Chris Ploss of Sunwood Recording. And we had some of the best horn players around the country.
Oh
Like we
my
had
God.
sax and trombone and fiddle and upright bass. And,
Yes.
you know, I play blues harp on Chocolate Jesus, which is a dope Tom Waits song. That's on the album. We do a cover of Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit. And it's trippy. This album, like, listen, if you want to smoke and be taken on a ride, dude, this is going to take you on a fucking journey. Because
You
Holy
hear that,
Mama,
people?
my
Once
wife
we get
wrote,
off, once this is over, play Dirty May.
yeah, Holy Mama, it starts off this reggae vibe. It goes in this Latin thing. But my wife wrote it about dancing in the dark and the light and embracing your dark side and all that stuff. And then,
Was that the song where you hit that note that was...
that was Brown Water,
Is
probably.
that Brown Water? I think it actually is Brown Water.
Yeah.
It is Brown Water. Dude,
Brown Water.
When I heard that note, I was like, no, this guy is awesome.
Oh, thank you, man.
I was truly blown away. I
Thank
can't even compare it, dude. Like, I've never seen somebody that I view as an actor completely change into a musician. I view you as a musician.
Thank you.
And to me, that's just amazing.
Thank you, brother. Well, I'll tell you where that came from. My heart. That song came from our heart. Robbie showed up. He said, listen, I don't like what's... One of the things we talked about when we created this band is we would love to go to all the protests and all the climate change play. Like, we want to play music for a cause. Like, yeah, we'll preach about, like, Chocolate Jesus, which is... You have to hear the song. It's not about, like... It's not a racism thing. It's literally about, like, enjoying chocolate. Like, Jesus
Hey, some
shaped
women call me
chocolate.
Chocolate Jesus, so it's all good.
Dude, it's dope. It's a great song. And
I'm on it.
a white guy wrote it, Tom Waits, but Tom Waits is woke, and he's been woke for a long time. So, oh man, I lost. Oh, Brown Water. So Robbie came to us. He said, "Man, the stuff going on in Flint, Michigan. I'm not okay with this, bro. I'm not okay with this. We got to say something." And he had this lick, and we were like, dude,
That's where that pain came from.
yeah, and he started talking about brown water, and we believed that if the earth could speak at that moment, that's what she would say. And so we each wrote our own verse, and then we came together to create the harmonies. You'll hear a lot of tension, and then
It's a
it
powerful
explodes. And that was just like, man, that came out of my heart. That was like, that's what the blues is, you know? So I think no matter what level of technical talent you are as an artist, the greatest advice I can give you is if you speak from your heart, it will be felt. It will resonate. It will be heard. Even if you don't hit the note, like
Completely
if it comes from your heart, it's gonna pierce the other people. And I'm not doing it to try to hit people. I'm just trying to be authentic and real.
That's what it comes across. Like, that's the best to me. That's like Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton isn't Mariah Carey.
Right.
But I love a Dolly Parton song.
Yeah.
She can get sad, she can get happy, she can do it all.
Yeah.
And her range has nothing to do with the way that she sings her songs. Her songs are fucking A-point.
And you know, she wrote like I Will Always Love You, that oh my god, I just blanked on like one of the most famous female African American singers of this time who died of crack overdose. Whitney Houston was known for I Will Always Love You. Dolly Parton.
I did not know that, dude. You just broke something to me?
That's right. Yeah. That's
No,
crazy,
no.
right?
That's
that was
insane.
Dolly's thing. Yeah, she wrote that about the guy who gave her first break. The producer that gave her first break. Yeah.
And then she just gave it to Whitney.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, she was
freaking
that. She was
amazing.
him. She was cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta look that story up. That sounds freaking dope. All right, bro. Let's get into some joints. I want to see this commercial that you did. You know, you had a commercial with Maggie Grace, the chick that played Taken's daughter, Liam Neeson.
Yes.
So you had Taken's daughter in the car with you.
Yeah, way before Taken. She was like 16 years old in that commercial.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, she looks exactly how she looked in the movie. She kind of looks like that today.
Yeah, she ages well.
Let's see.
I can say.
Let me see this real quick. See if I can pop this up.
That was a rough day for me too. That was a rough time. That specific commercial, I remember that was I'd had a big night the night before that.
Yeah.
I was not at the peak of my game at that point. So I just was honored that Dell kept working with me. I was going through it,
So,
man.
how deep was this? What year was this in?
This was like the end. This
Makes
was
your
like
head spin.
very
Well, your
much at the
computer
end, like
quandary is easily
2003,
solved
right
by the
before I
folks
got
at Dell.
arrested.
Just call or go online. They'll help you figure it out. So you know what you're getting and what you're getting it for.
So none of this.
Nope, just the perfect PC for you at the right price for you.
Oh, I'm feeling better already.
Good.
You hear that?
Steven, isn't this your father's car?
Yeah. Not quite.
No.
Right now, a complete Dimension desktop with an Intel Pentium 4 processor
something in the
delivering
background.
performance where you need it most is just $799. There's great deals on notebooks, too. And why wait? Because for a limited time, you can get a free CD burner upgrade.
You're gonna say it, aren't you?
Oh, he knows. Yeah.
Easy to buy,
Technology
easy
is
to
tough
own,
on these
easy as
things.
Dell.
It's
Dell PCs use Intel Pentium 4 processors.
If you're recording and doing a podcast and playing a video at the same time, it can be tough.
It could be super duper tough. I'm seeing it right now.
Can you?
All right. All right, bump it. We ain't gonna show no clips.
Okay,
I'll
well, we
just
can tell them to go
insert
watch
there.
it.
Just tell me
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Just
tell me
type
about
in
it.
Maggie Grace. That
Maggie
other
Grace
guy.
Dell commercial. So you said that was one of your
I'm
last ones.
cruising up in a convertible, and this guy's like, "Steven, isn't that your father's car?" And I'm like, "No." And
Dude,
then on the
I
back is
remember
like,
that.
"Dude, you're getting a Dell." She's
Yeah.
like, "Aren't you gonna say it?" I'm like, "Oh, he knows." And then I like cruise out, and it says like, "Dude, you're getting a Dell" on the bumper sticker. Those are great.
Dude, yeah. When I saw that commercial, I remember seeing that as a child. And your commercial was just like the fucking highlight. Like, it was, when your shit came on, it was kind of like a TV show. It was just like me watching fucking Dragon Ball Z at that time.
That's
Once it
dope.
went a
Yeah, they were-
commercial, I'm like, I'm hoping this Dell commercial come on.
and they were on all day, so people either loved or hated it. I have friends that still were like, "Dude, I couldn't stand you," and then we smoked a joint together, and it was like best friends. My best friend today says that to me.
That's insane. Did you see the? I know you saw the SNL impression. You put a comment on my post when I posted it
Oh,
up.
dude, I gotta find that again. I
What-
couldn't believe you found
What
that.
did you think of that?
That's Seth Meyers impersonated
Seth
me.
Meyers and Tina Fey.
Yeah, I mean, it was a low blow, but I thought it was pretty damn clever and was great. So y'all gotta go check that out. Like Seth Meyers, Dell dude.
How did you see that in real time, or did somebody show that to you?
Someone showed it to me because I still couldn't really handle watching TV too much then. It was like I couldn't see that much of myself. But I ran into Seth. I went to the Edinburgh Theatre Festival. It's the biggest theatre festival in the world in Edinburgh, Scotland. And I ran into Seth Meyers there. And I was like, "Yo, Seth!" Like, came up with all his
How did
attitude.
he look?
"Yo, I saw that impersonation." He was like, "Hey."
No. That's
And
gold.
I was like, "I want to let you know, dude, that was really good. Like, respect." And he was like, "Oh, thanks, man. That's cool. I'm glad. I didn't know how you were gonna feel about it, but."
Yeah.
he
I
was
mean,
like,
they
"That's cool."
tried it. They took a jab at you. They took a jab at you. But who
They
would have
took a
known
jab
that?
at the character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Steven. It was Steven.
Yeah.
But who would have known that 20 years later, Ben would be a life coach?
I didn't know it. I could
Come on.
barely take care of myself at the time.
Come on. I mean, that's what it takes. It takes the people who actually been through something to teach people not to go through that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I don't even teach people not to go through it. I just teach people they have a choice. And I don't even teach as much as I hold people to their highest self. So that's why I became a coach. Like, I'm still an actor. I auditioned for a new show, FBI Most Wanted, coming out yesterday. I was auditioning for it from my living room. And
Good luck, brother.
thank you. I'm doing voiceovers. I was on season 2 of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I was
I
in
saw that.
Orange is the New Black.
Crushed it.
Thank you. And so I'm letting America know I'm making a comeback.
You back,
and
baby.
I'm not coming back just as an artist, but I'm coming back as an artist supporting other artists. So I support entrepreneurs. I support all kinds of things. But my people as a coach is sensitive, creative men, or men who are afraid to be sensitive and ready to step into their power with the relationship with themselves or another. And so anyone who's struggling, if you're struggling with the relationship with yourself, then it's going to affect your job, your relationship with someone else, your finances. Because I couldn't make money. Like, I made all that money back then, but I couldn't hold it. I spent it all because I didn't know what to do with it, because I grew up not having much. My father was a minister. My mom was a school teacher, then worked with refugees. They taught me rich people are bad and you got to do what you love.
And not
But
actual
there is
economics.
nothing wrong with making money doing what you love. If you are serving and that money allows you to become of more service, like, I invested $12,000 in myself last night. Now, I did not have $12,000 in my bank account. I had to borrow it because I've been investing myself so much that I've paid off my debts. I've been saving money. I have money aside for my honeymoon. We're saving money for our tour. We moved houses. We moved out of New York City. We're getting a car. Like I'm taking care of myself and I'm investing in myself. And it's scary, dude. But the thing is, when you invest in yourself energetically, financially, you're actually putting money in your spiritual bank to say, like, yes, I can. And yes, I will be uncomfortable. And yes, I can receive. So it's all about how much are you willing to receive? And right now, it's hard to receive sometimes. People don't know what to do with that. They don't know what to do with abundance or light. They'll say, oh, I know what I'd do with the money. Yeah, you'd go spend it, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. But can you hold on to it, or can you invest it back in yourself because you know you're worth it? And if you make the investment now, that it's going to rocket you for the future. And anytime you start to get scared, a coach has your back. No one who's anyone has made it without the support of another. Like the Michael Jordans, the Oprah Winfreys, the Martin Luther Kings, the Steve Jobs, any athlete.
We all need somebody.
We all got somebody, a coach, a mentor, and I do. And it took me investing in a coach. I always said I didn't have the money. Listen, if you look at the amount of money you're spending on things throughout the week, I guarantee if you start making coffee at home instead of buying it from there, you're going to have $600 extra a month. If you like sell that thing that you're holding on to just to feel good because it's like hanging on your wall of value. Like, I've sold a guitar before because I thought I needed it to look good and feel good. Exactly. But listen, that money was spent on me, and to be of service to myself is like the best way to raise a vibration. So if you want to make a difference on this planet, you invest in yourself and you allow a coach to be in your corner. Like, I would be honored to be that coach for anyone listening right now and having a conversation. If you want to have a conversation with me, it is free. I'm here to empower you, find out if it's a good fit, because I don't work with just anyone. I never work with more than 10 people at a time. I have 2 spots open right now. And I get on a discovery call with you, find out what you're dealing with. And if you're willing to invest in yourself and are willing to do whatever it takes to have the means to invest in yourself. And then I talk about whether we work together. So I work with actors, entrepreneurs, artists, creatives, anyone who is feeling like they're just surviving right now, but know that they're ready to level up and thrive, and know that they're ready to step towards that light, even if it's uncomfortable, because a coach will not let you back down. I'm not a therapist. I don't put up with bullshit. I say, what do you want? What actions are you going to take towards your dream? And I'm going to hold you accountable to that, because that's what you deserve.
You're kind of getting your Tony Robbins on.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Have you ever given any seminars?
I've
Would you?
given one seminar. I did it for a huge nonprofit that supports underprivileged people in New York City. I did a wellness seminar on taking care of themselves, and I'm dying to do more. So I also, yeah, do public speaking. I speak in schools and businesses, and I absolutely am. The program I'm just going into is to help me build my seminars so I could do it online too.
Dope, dope.
Yeah,
That's fucking amazing, man.
yeah, bro.
You really just churned it all around. Like everything. Like I'm just I feel like a relative. Like I'm proud of you. Like I really am.
Thank you.
And to have you as one of my first, I would say actually my first unofficial guest is a huge honor and a huge privilege. And I thank you. You are the man for this.
My brother, the Kannakutana Parris royalty, it is an honor. I feel a kindred connection with you in spirit because I believe we all are brothers and we're all related, brothers and sisters. And I just thank you for opening the space, for allowing me. I haven't talked this much in a long time, so clearly you're great at what you do, and this is gonna take off. And
Thank you, bro.
thank you for having the courage to go after your dream and
Thank you. I appreciate
to
it.
hold this space
As
because
a matter
this
of
is a
fact,
sacred space, brother.
I have one question for you because she'll probably kill me if I don't say it. So, Mila, one of my friends, wants to say hi to you.
What's up, Mila?
Appreciate that.
How you doing?
All right. And I have one question. Have you seen the Company Man video on Dell?
No.
It's at like maybe 1 point something views right now. And he brought up you and he brought up your sales pitch. And it was one of the best ways of putting it. I want to play the clip.
Can we
insert
try?
space here so that I
Okay.
can play the clip.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna put
Okay,
the
good.
clip.
Okay, good. Company
But he
man, Dell.
basically, Company Man, and he basically talks about how your ad was just like one of his highlights as a child, and he would say,
so
he would go like they would just go to their friends and say, "Hey, dude," and then his friends would look at him like, "Hey, what's wrong with you? You okay?" He said, "You're getting a Dell." And they would just bug out on that.
That's dope. I love that. Company man, Dell. Which is I can't even find what is it?
Company Man,
You're gonna have to send me the
what
link.
happened to Dell? I will definitely
The
send you
decline
link.
of Dell, what happened?
Yes.
Company man, there he is. Okay. Dude, when he sees me follow him and start to comment, he's gonna flip out. How
I
did you
got
find
Company
him?
Man. I got you.
Yeah, how did you find him?
I watched a couple of his videos. He's very good at what he does. But when I saw the
crazy.
Dell one, I had to see that, especially when I knew I was going to have you on.
Dude, 1.7 million views, 29,000 likes,
Yeah.
1.7 million dislikes. Which that's when you know. Listen,
you hit
I'm going
it.
to tell you this, brother, right
Yes.
now. When people start hating on you, that's when you know you're doing something right because
Yes.
you're speaking truth that not everyone's going to want to hear. So that's why I drop a
Exactly.
lot of stuff in here that's even controversial because don't be afraid to piss people off. The best thing you can do is have an opinion and stay true to it. So thank you for everything that you do and what you stand for.
No doubt.
It was an honor to be on here, brother.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, bro. I can't thank you enough.
It was my
Ladies
pleasure.
and gentlemen, Ben Curtis.
Thank you so much. And I got a call with my coach in 20 minutes here to get my download for the day. And if you're listening and you felt the call, answer it. Whatever that is to you, whether it's following your dream, whether it's reaching out to me for a coaching call, whether it's reaching out to Parris to thank him. And mostly, thank you for listening and watching and comment. Let us know what landed. Subscribe to this. Share this with your people because the way we can get the message out is by sharing what resonates and spreading the love. So thank you so much.
All right. One other thing on what would you do? I
Okay.
saw you on that. I was like, I know that's Ben.
Yes.
Then I wind up seeing it on the internet. Dude, it's at 7.9 views. How did you
7.9.
million views?
All right, I didn't even know that.
This is what would you do?
Is it White Barber?
This is a guy harassing waitress.
Oh, the Me Too one. Oh God, that was tough. Yo, there's one called White Barber where I'm in Denny Moe's barbershop in Harlem playing the only white barber around, and that went viral too. That is dope. You should look at that because there's like a local minister, like politician that steps up and speaks about the civil rights movement in the middle of it. It is crazy.
So Harlem. So Harlem.
So that Me Too where, yeah, harassing the waitress. Oh, that was tough. What was your question? It was tough, dude. It was like 11 a.m. in a diner in Jersey, and I have to like harass this woman out loud, like everything I was taught not to do. And I mean, honestly, I have a hard time watching it because as an actor, I don't think I did a great job because I was so uncomfortable. I don't feel like I could own being the asshole that I was supposed to be because I was afraid I was going to get punched or like attacked.
This is actually real life. Like, so what would you do is a TV show where they put actors in positions with real people
in real situations we create situations of conflict. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
And ask people, what would you do in that situation?
Well, first they film them seeing what they would do, and then they talk to them about why they did that. And they don't know they're on camera like until John Quinones comes out. Yeah, exactly. It's like invisible theater is another thing for it, but it's like invisible. It's hidden camera. And they don't know at all. I guarantee they don't know because we make sure they don't know. And they are smart about where they go and
was it just one shot, or did you have to do that multiple times?
I had to do it all day.
All day.
I spent some time with that girl just to like develop some rapport and trust before I went in, and like God bless her for putting it up too.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because I've worked in the service industry, I've seen all that. I've seen those guys, and it's the most disgusting thing out there. I have like very little respect for men who abuse any situation of power, especially with women. And I've had so many female friends leave New York because of how disrespected they are on the streets. And so it's I just want to say, like, men step up and lead by example. The sexiest thing you can do, you want a woman, stand for women, and women will come to you. You know, if you're gay and you want a man, stand for your fellow women. And men will think that's sexy too. Like whatever you are, like stand for anyone who is pushed down, and that is the hottest thing you can do. Man.
Like honestly, like I was a wild boy back in my day. I was a little wild one, but I looked at myself as the bully. Whenever I seen people going at somebody who was disabled, I was going after a girl, that was going after somebody smaller than them, I always stopped them, and that was my thing. It's just I was kind of like Dexter out there, just trying to stop the bully, but being like, "Hey yo, relax." Like I always had the height, I always had the stature. So whenever I went to somebody, I had authority, and I used that authority for good. You know, I didn't try to take advantage of people, and I think that a lot of people think in inferior type mentality that shit type of happen.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm just that type of dude. What can I say?
Yeah. Well, it's good. Listen, practice what you preach, and I don't preach anything I haven't been through, so.
You did right.
Here we go.
You've been through a lot, bro, and I thank you for sharing that with me. You have been a man. Thank you for all your time, bro. I thank you so much. Please, everybody, follow Ben. Check him out, Ben Curtis. Check out his reel. Check out everything. Check out What Would You Do. Check out everything that we mentioned today. Thank you, brother.
And can I just tell you directly, like, check out, so it's Ben Curtis Official is my Instagram and Facebook, and follow me on YouTube. If you look up Ben Curtis, actor, coach, I should be the only guy there, and I'm here for you. You can message me on all those platforms, and I'm just here to be of service to you, and thank you so much, Parris, for all that you do. It's an honor to be on this podcast. I wish you nothing but success.
I wish you nothing but success, and all of your people that you're coaching. Love you, brother.
Love you too.
All right.
All right, so you got